Yeah, make sure to sign under the video.
Good morning. Today is September 18th, 2023. We're here at the Benchmark Trailhead in the Bob Marshall Wilderness. I'm here with Richard again from Backcountry Post, where I met a couple years ago, and we're gonna do the China Wall, but a little bit different than what people would typically do.
We would head north on the South Fork Sun River Trail, following it upstream. This section was part of the Continental Divide Trail, or the CDT. At the confluence upstream, we would take the West Fork Sun River Trail, still following the CDT northbound. At the junction of Prairie Reef Lookout Trail, we would look for Camp 1 since there was no reliable water beyond this point. On day 2, we would head up the Prairie Reef Trail, leaving the CDT. At the top of Prairie Reef, the trail ends and our off-trail traverse begins. At the end of Prairie Reef is a final climb uphill onto White Ridge. There was very little beta on this traverse, so the conditions were unknown. Our day 2 would end as we would drop down from White Ridge to Elsis Creek for camp and possibly our first source of water on the day. Day 3 would start with a bushwhack, also off-trail, as we follow Elsis Creek to Moose Creek. We'd then junction again with the CDT, now in the form of the Wall Trail. We would then head northbound again on the CDT to end day 3, somewhere with water before Larch Hill Pass. Day 4 would see us go off-trail once again as we plan to make our way on top of the Chinese Wall, near Larch Pass, and then traverse it heading south. Our stopping point would be any source of water around halfway point on the wall, maybe around Sphinx Peak. Water source was going to be less reliable during the fall season. Our last day, we would continue to traverse the Chinese Wall off-trail past Haystack Mountain until we reached Indian Creek near White River Pass. We would then take the Indian Creek Trail east until we met back up with the CDT and the West Fork Sun River Trail. From here, we would retrace our steps heading southbound on the CDT back to the Benchmark Trailhead.
All right, see you on the trail. Probably the best bridge we'll see.
Our journey began by crossing the South Fork of the Sun River.
And enter the Bob. Finally here, first time in the Bob.
Our first section was through a growth of pine forest on a relatively wide open trail. This was until we reached a burn area.
So we're going down that valley or no? Not that valley. We're turning left, right? This is the same creek that we were by earlier? A different one, right?
We were now crossing the West Fork Sun River, which confluences with the South Fork Sun River further downstream. The red rocks on the bottom remind me a little of the rivers in Glacier National Park, which is just north of here in Montana. The fall scenery was all around us in September. The meadows we traversed through were all golden brown. Many trees were also turning yellow. Amongst those trees, we saw a black bear. He didn't care for us.
I'm gonna stop for a second and pull out my big lens.
There is the black bear.
As we continue on the bus over the West Fork Sun River, the sun started to burn off the clouds and we were treated with some great fall colors.
This is the end of day number 1. We pretty much came up the drainage, West Fork Sun Creek Sun Trail, and this is pretty much the last campsite we can do before we start going on the ridge over there. Last source of water at least. So early finish to the day, and pretty relaxing with a really nice open view of the mountains over there we'll be coming down. That's it for now. I'm gonna just relax, take a nap maybe, and prep for tomorrow's long day. Alright, see ya. Good morning. Welcome to day number 2. Today we have a lot of uphill, and after that we're going to go off trail. How are you feeling?
Good. A lot of water.
Oh, a lot of water carried today. There should be no water on the ridge, so our weights our backpacks are full. All right, here we go. Oh wow, this is pretty cool right here.
Our first big climb of the day started with a mix of forest and golden fields, the kind that makes you want to run your hands through them. Pretty soon we were overlooking the West Fork Sun Creek Valley and its patrol cabin, as Richard pointed out.
Oh yeah, this kind of makes you start feeling like you're in the bog and the bog is big.
Yeah.
As we continue up, the Chinese wall came into view across the valley.
Oh, that's pretty creepy.
We'd hopefully be on those in a couple of days.
See the shelter now up there. I didn't know there was a shelter. Fire tower, something like that.
It was a Prairie Reef fire tower. The views just continued to open up as we got closer to the fire tower. We arrived at the fire tower to find Bill, the warden, packing up for the season. He gave us some great beta on our hike ahead. Not only that, he was trying to get rid of the last of his food and coffee before he leaves for the season. I did not mind a bit after that climb. 3 Michelin footprints indeed. Thanks, Phil, for the pick-me-up and the great info. After the break, our off-trail traverse of Prairie Reef began. It was actually pretty mild, except for the whipping wind. The view all around was a highlight.
Oh, that's a toilet. I can't hear you now. The wind's. I can't hear you now. The wind's.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just telling you.
There's a beautiful, very small
Little crevice.
Bill told us of an elk herd around the reef, and we could hear the bugling as we went. Looking across a Prairie Creek drainage, we could see large trees sporting their fall yellow glow. On the opposite side of the ridge, we could see the entirety of the Chinese wall stretched out across from us. It gave us an idea of what was in store in the days to come. We had one section of scrambling as we climbed down through a cliff band. As we ended the scramble, we heard howling in the valley below.
I don't see him.
So let me see where you're going.
I'm on that ridge.
Down this way a little bit. Stop. Go back a little bit. They're moving right here.
Okay. Oh man, they're moving.
Yeah, the first one I saw was all like there. I think there were like 4 of them, 4 or 5 over here. And the rest were going down the trees, and that's why they were howling.
Because they probably saw us. Oh man, they are moving. Yeah, I see one below the trees.
That's incredible.
Oh, see another one coming down from trees. Oh, they see more. So last year when I was taking the videos of the bears, I didn't even notice a couple of the bears that we picked up later.
Yeah, that's funny how that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going all the way down.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so awesome. They're all out of the trees now.
Oh yeah, down lower. Yeah, I see them moving.
Yeah, they're all stopped right there.
After the wolf pack sighting, we were floating on a high. Even the sun came out to say hello. The sun didn't stay long, and we had some hard work still ahead of us.
Alright, deciding which side of the mountain to go around.
That started with some boulder hopping.
I see it.
Even past the boulders, we had to keep a sure footing traversing the steep slopes.
Found some water, but it's too early. We're on the east side of this wall now. Okay. Feel a little tired all of a sudden, but I think the bouldering.
We continued making our way around the next few peaks on Prairie Reef. We followed game trails when we could, including a well-worn one taking us back to the western side of the reef. We finally saw a herd of elk we've been hearing all through the trip. The route did not get easier with some slippery talus. The weather started to turn for the worse as we reached the bottom of White Ridge. The wind picked up and we could see storm clouds heading toward us. I was also pretty beat at this point. My legs felt like jelly. So we decided to act on the known beta and what Bill told us, and decided to head around White Ridge rather than over it. We would head for the pass leading to the Three Lakes drainage.
I imagine a few people have dropped down this way because it sounds like that's what the ranger or Bill was really expecting.
So the most similar route to the one we were doing that I've ever seen done, they said they came down this way.
After the pass, we were bushwhacking through the trees, and I was a bit wrecked at this point. I was very thankful Richard was able to navigate us to the creek in the drainage, and at some flattish area for us to set up camp. It was a campsite that no one would write home about, and maybe it was the worst one I'd stayed at all year, but I was glad to be done with the day. It was a heck of a day with grand views of the Autumn Valley, the steep rock walls of the reef, and the majestic sighting of a wolf pack. But it also chewed me up with plenty of elevation gain, energy-sapping wind, and slippery scree. We gained a total of 4,853 feet of elevation over 14 miles, stopping just with enough daylight to set up camp. It was a quick meal as hiker midnight came and I was quickly out.
Good morning. Welcome to day number 3. We had a little change of plans. Came down this other drainage, what's Three Lakes drainage. The weather was getting bad and my legs were a little bit tired, so we didn't go up over White Ridge. Yeah. So we're heading toward the trail. Some bushwhacking to start the day. All right, see you on the trail.
We followed our water source downstream, sticking close to the water as the trees were least dense there.
The water has gone underground, so we have a nice rocky trail.
Bushwhacking is my least favorite part of all trailing. At least this was pretty on par with my typical adventures with Richard. At least he was taking the lead on navigation here, and all I had to do was follow.
Guess to the left.
Speed is not a concept when you're bushwhacking. All you're trying to do is put a foot safely in front of another without tripping, rip your clothes, or lose anything. If anyone finds an Nalgene somewhere here, I can tell you where to send it. Toward the end of the bushwhack, we had to leave the creek as it headed down a steep canyon, meaning we had the worst part of our bushwhack for last. We had no clearing to follow, but the contour lines on our map. At least our spirits were good in the morning and we were full of energy. It took us a couple hours to go a mile or so, but we were finally at Moose Creek.
Finally got here. Of the sort of drainage we came down. The creek, the wall. Back on the trail.
With the last look back up to White Ridge and the Three Lake drainage, we were off on the Moose Creek Trail to see the Chinese Wall. The fall foliage was especially popping on this stretch of the trail. We put our heads down and powered forward with some mindless hiking. Pretty soon, the Chinese Wall was in front of us.
This is nice. This is nice.
The closer we got, the more imposing it seemed. To the south, we had a view out toward Cliff Mountain and Sphinx Peaks behind it. That was to be home tomorrow night. For now, all we can do is admire the wall from below. The endless nature of this remote 15-mile-long ridge encapsulates perfectly why this is a wall, and aptly named after the Great Wall of China.
Right. I mean, right.
After soaking it up close, we turned northbound on the CDT, or the Wall Trail here specifically, looking for our next campsite.
Oh, that is cool. More wall. Do 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 do. Pretty wide shot, so. Yeah.
Our requirements for that campsite was water source and somewhere where we can set up next day for the climb onto the wall.
This is the end of day number 3.
It was a relatively short day, but plenty of work still, and even plenty of views of the Chinese Wall. We had to ready ourselves for the off-trail to come with some questionable weather in the forecast the next day. Again, at this point of year in the fall, we were not sure we were going to find any water on the wall the next day.
Tomorrow, we're going to go up there. All right, see you on the trail. Good morning. Welcome to day 4. There's a little snow, and it's still coming down. Today, we're scheduled to go on the wall today. You cannot see it anymore. We'll see you on the trail. All right, take 2. Snow is a little bit wetter, and I don't like the visibility. Personally, I think Rick's the snow is a little bit too wet for his liking, and it's just little things are adding up that we're just gonna hike out on the wall trail. It's still mostly new trail for us, and as you can see, the snow has not stopped, even though it said it would. Liars. So I think we're gonna try to get out as far as we can. Hopefully we can get all the way, because this is pretty brutal. Can't see the wall anymore. See you on the trail.
This is wild.
Yeah.
This is like what wilderness right here. I love. That's one thing about the winter.
Yeah.
It is kind of brutal and turns you around. Man, it's wild.
Yeah.
Like wilderness with a capital W.
This is wild. Bunch of wildlings we are right now.
All right, storm the wall.
Storm the wall. Maybe next time.
Wolves are, I don't know, to me they're kind of magical creatures. Not literally, but...
Yeah. Oh man. You barely see the top now.
Oh yeah, we're getting...
And it's gone.
When I say, hey, we might need to do this, you psych yourself up.
Yeah.
But when it's just not good enough, I still say turn back, you know.
It was cold, but our spirits were high as we hiked through the winter wonderland. We had hot showers, hot food, and a hot bed possible at the end of the day. We were also riding a last day high with plenty of get out energy.
Get you another shot of the wall.
Slowly, the clouds lifted to reveal more and more of the wall. Their wispy nature added to the enchanting scene.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah.
We even time for side spots.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that's a fair assessment of the situation.
Once we rounded Cliff Mountain, it was mostly downhills from here.
I think the views are better from down here than they would have been up there.
Yeah.
We'll come back in July.
A grand or...
It actually kind of adds to it.
Yeah, there's the mystery of... Yeah.
Not a bad way to spend it.
No. And we even get hamburgers afterwards, maybe.
Oh, here's hoping.
More wall. Yeah.
Green started to peek more and more from under the snow. Then came the yellow and the brown, and the winter was gone.
Now we're on the southwest fork, southwest, east, north, something, fork of the Sun River. Still raining. How you feeling? Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a nice river.
Halfway through our day, we were back at the West Fork Sun River Patrol Cabin, which we saw from above on our second day. It was all but shuttered at this point, but the porch gave us a little reprieve from the constant rain soaking us to our bones.
Wyoming or Montana as it gets.
For those of you looking forward to watching some water boiling on these backpacking videos, this is your moment. We did a good amount of that to warm up our core temperatures.
It's good enough, I think.
But the best way to keep warm here was to keep moving, so we were on our way soon enough.
Look, there is a rick bear.
The last section was a retrace of our day one hike, but it was a completely different experience. The low clouds gave more depth and mystery to the mountains around us. Meanwhile, the rain turned the trail into a slippery, muddy mess. It didn't help that the mule trains coming out from hunter camps churned the trail into soup. I now understood why the trails were so wide on this first section. All we could do was put one foot carefully in front of the other and do whatever was needed to power through, even though I felt like I was stuck in a state of delirium these last few steps.
That's pretty much it, guys. That wraps up the Bob Marshall Wilderness. Might wrap up my hiking this year, or backpacking this year. See you on the trail.
A very special thanks to Richard for another great adventure. I think he's finally warming up to me now. He didn't actively try to kill me this time. And thank you for watching.
this is cheeseburger time. Normal size. That's just large size.